Welcome again, everyone. Jerry's Old Guy Review, and it's another table talk for Derrick Hayes. Derrick, before I even start, that trailer says Tundra made in the USA. That is actually some of the extra stickers that I had for my full-size truck. Toyota stickers, Bilstein shocks, RC four-wheel drive on the back corner, similar ones on the other side, except for I've got my Old Guy Review sticker on the other side, but not this side. I better fix that. More Bilstein. And I think I got another RC four-wheel drive. I'm going to include Hello RC stickers he sent me recently, because we have the same truck, almost the same color, both dark blues. Mine is a Ford blue because I just used to have a lot of extra paint laying around. But we'll talk to that. Talk about that? Something. Wow. It's not even Friday and I may have an adult beverage in my hand. So, Tamiya trucks are not for everyone. I did a driving video this summer where I talked about Tamiya trucks, Tamiya trucks, whatever we want to call them. If you have never built a kit, I don't think this is the first kit for you. But if you have built a kit, you can go back in some of my old videos on these trucks. You can do things to make them off-road like I do, or you can just stick with the on-road and get you a nice radio system, pimp it out so you have all the gearing. But I'm going to tell you, the first thing you're going to want to do if you build one of these is Tamiya includes a servo saver. Get you a digital servo, pitch that servo saver, because I have experience with all three of these trucks. They will let you down at the worst time. So with our modern electronics, you leave the servo saver off and use your trims. This truck right here is the globe liner. Doo-doo-doo. He is the third recipient of a straight servo horn, because these little boys, even though they're they're little boys in the scheme of things, but still, hell of a haul to bring back to your house if you're away from it and you break the servo saver. Now, when I got these kits, this is wow. Now I'm having a total brain fart. The King Hauler. Duh. King Hauler, that is one of the OGs. I have had that specific truck since 2000. And it has gotten a facelift. I did a trade with it. It has got a stretched King Hauler chassis on it. It's got airbag or rear bag. Let's go over and look at this real quick. It has the bags in it for suspension like a real truck has. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Doo-doo-doo. Is it not going to zoom? Yeah. So it's got the fancy bags in it. It's really long. So I decided, had extra bits. It's got an extra tank on this side and an extra storage bin on the other side. I just need a carrier bearing for it, and it'll be back up and running. But this truck has lived its whole life. It's got the rear light on it. There's one up on the front. Moose lights. That's what we call them up here. But Jerry's Truckin'. This is not a Kenworth by any stretch of the imagination, but I decided to make it one. And that was my first foray. Oh, and it's sitting on the flatbed trailer from Tamiya, but I cut the chassis and stretched it 8 inches, which makes it more in line with the box trailer. Why it was so short, I don't know. These trucks can be incredibly fun. And when I got these trucks, they were $300. These kits, $300. You did a lot of work. You had it ready to run, but you needed 2 servos and electronic speed control, but the 2 servos were for, one's for steering, one's for a 3-speed transmission, which, they're pretty nice. But, you know, I found myself more, especially when off-road applications, using it in low all the time. But then I started looking, and I wanted to do something somewhat impressive with them, in my opinion, because these trucks in low gear were pretty neat. And when I had the King Hauler, before I did this chassis, God, that's been 4 years now, I needed the carrier bearing. They weren't readily available. Now they are. I just need to quit being lazy. And jack the front end up a little bit. Make it, you know, more off-roady. But meanwhile, that one was decked out with the fancy radio so I can operate all the 3 speeds. And my first grandbaby, I used to haul cinder blocks around with it. When she was 2-3 years old, and I could get her to sit on it, it could pull her around. So that to me started my brain thinking about more off-road applications. And it took a long time. I didn't want to goo up the differentials on it because I didn't know how it was going to operate. But I got this. This is the main trailer guy. This is the upgrade to the King Hauler. This is the Night Hauler, which is basically a fancy Freightliner, but it's a beautiful truck. But unlike, as you can see, if you look up here, you see all the room underneath the King Hauler. You don't have that with the Night Hauler. The Night Hauler has all that fancy chrome. Pardon me. And its biggest issue, right here, here's the battery. So, there's your ground clearance. It's a finger. So, this is not the best off-roading rig. Now, it's got some RC four-wheel drive semi-tires on it, which are a lot better than the factory or the stock ones. So it gets around fairly well until it gets into any situation where it's off camera in the center and it'll get hung up. But still, the things I can get this truck to do blows me away. Now, when I want to get a little more off-roady, that's where the Freightliner comes in. So the Freightliner has got the King Hauler. I think this one, I thought I did the switch. It could still have the stock. I don't know. I think that might be the Globeliner chassis still. But that's got weighted wheels, aluminum, It's got some badass off-road tires. Put on, I alternated. The fronts are backwards. The rears are normal for better traction. It's got 3 million weight. I think, or 30 million weight. Wait a minute, let me look. Where are you going, baby? Oh, my bad. It's 20 million weight fluid in the diffs, which lock them up. Not super locked up, but enough that it gets itself out of trouble. It's got a slight body lift on it. And who do you normally hear that says they put a body lift on their semi? And it's Nissan green, but this truck is my off-road baby. And it's basically, before I got the King Hauler, you know, little tight back in the day, I got the King Hauler because it was bigger. It was longer, getting more for my bucks. But this was right here, the Globeliner. This is the truck I wanted. Always did. And put a body lift on it. Now it's locked up. That's my truck that hauls everything. And that's it. I mean, look at it. It's a tough little green sucker. You can kind of see that body lift. It's lifted enough that it says Tamiya right there. And that's on the chassis, in between the grill and the bumper. You can zoom in later at your convenience and see Tamiya under there. And because these used to be cheap, and I used to have I just had a spare kit. It was missing bits. I built that. Now, those are called dollies or something. The enclosed trailer, the Tundra trailer, has an RC four-wheel drive SCX10 rear trailer hitch on it. Fit right on it. So that truck can tow both trailers with that dolly. I just took the extra bits. I had the cut-off part of the chassis that was done for the extension. And I used, you know what's funny is I bet that this arm is part of the OG HPI Crawler King. I think that's where that came from. So Derrick, I hope it's helpful. Hope you run right out and buy one of these. Anyone else, what's it been? Maybe 5 years? 5 years, 6 years? Since I built my last one? I might be a little rusty. But if you do get one, you might be able to ask some questions. I might have an answer. Well, doing grown-up stuff in the background. But Derrick wanted me to talk a little bit about the trucks, and here they are. These trucks go out, well, not the King Hauler. King Hauler's ballast a lot. He rides around on that trailer a lot. He might be upset when he has to do it himself. But these trucks are beautiful. The build is excellent. Now, if you want to make them as well lit as mine are, that's where the pain starts. Because it is a pain. You want to pre-think it. You want to make sure you get wiring light kits that have enough lights. And you also want to make sure they're long enough. Man, that night hauler, that's a labor of love right there. That thing has got all the lights on it. And let's get it back out. Get out of here, you dolly. Nobody wants to see you. I mean, that truck, it looks so good. And it looks so good driving. I don't see a need for the gangster lowrider one, other than for its bits. But I will tell you, these kits have raised in price a lot. They've got some beautiful ones, but as of right now, if I was to get another one, you know, I don't want another. I don't want one that doesn't have any ground clearance. So it would have to be another globe liner or a King hauler. Man, they had an all black one. It was so good looking. But for an off-road use, those are the only two I'd get. They have ground clearance. And a lot of people, there's a gear you can get for the front or for the transmission that you can extend it out so you could actually put a four-wheel drive axle on it. Or another rear one. But there's a lot of people that use that Leso company, Lesu, that does a lot of expensive semi stuff. A lot of people put those four-wheel drive axles on it. I was actually thinking of, I have one of the Tamiya high lifts, but it's only got two axles. And they're a lot different looking than these axles, but you can always rip them down and look at the gear ratios and see if something like that might work. But that would probably be a complete different. These guys here, they all have their place. They have a place in my heart, especially the King hauler, because he's been around so long. That's a Tamiya red metallic. I don't even remember the color it was. With stickers off of a Proline Bigfoot that I used the body to recreate one of my old trucks. So Derrick, is that good? Is there anything I may have missed that you wanted to know about my 114 fleet other than the fact that it is so hard to find another 114 of anything that you can put next to it for scale? Oh, look at that dog here. Now, I got these two 114s. They're kind of cheesy, and they're Wranglers, and they're more toy than anything else. But out on the trail together, they can always run into each other. And I think the scale looks pretty good. Let's see. Let's do another view. Oh, shoot. I'm squeezing in between two semis. Who's going to squash me? So, a little eye candy. This is the reason right here that I have buildings in the back course. Right now, at this time of year, it's fun to have the trails pretty good. The night hauler or the globe liner handles them better, but these trucks perform better with weight. The Tundra trailer is full of little scale vehicles. If it's like it is now, I slide them out. I put a big old brick in there, or four. And that truck, it makes these trucks perform better off-road. The heavier the weight, the better the performance. And with that, thanks everyone. FMS affiliate link at the bottom. Teespring link in the bottom for merch. If you guys want any of this for Christmas, nothing says I love you, honey, like an Oldguyreview t-shirt or an FMS RC. So, hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'm going to apologize in a later video of why there's no driving video on the 112 scales. And I will talk to you on the next one.